Hi guys, I'm Marisha and I'm back with another video. Today I want to share with you my May TBR. I have a couple of books that I want to read for the month, three of which I can't really talk about. And I have two books here that I'm hoping that I definitely have to try and see if I can fit in. Well, I don't mind one of them because it's an audio. So we have, my first audio is obviously The Wintersmith by Pratchett. This is the next Discworld book and I'm really looking forward to it. It's a Tiffany Aching book and the Tiffany Aching books have so far been really fun and I'm looking forward to this. And probably would be a better book to read over the winter months, but it's not gonna happen. The thing that I've wanted to do for myself now is that I want to try and read a masterwork or a classic every other month. That way I might get into a groove. I do have quite a few unread masterworks at the moment, so I'd like to make my way through them. The first one being The Lathe of Heaven by Ursula Guin. I read The Dispossessed by Guin and really enjoyed it. I have a review of it on my channel actually, and I definitely want to read it. And I picked this one because it's short. That way I can manage to fit it in with the other reading I have, because as I said, I have three books on my TBR that are I'm not gonna mention because they're for a secret thing, that I hope I'll have up around the middle of May, depending on when I finish them. So it's going to be the start of the month that I try this. I just yesterday got The Rage of Dragons down on my Overdrive app, so I have to read this over the next 21 days, so it's definitely going to be an audio for me. So that will be an audio work on. I don't know how long it is, but I know that the book itself is pretty large, so it's probably around 25 hours is my estimation. So we'll see how things goes, and yeah. But now let's get to the Bookopoly part. I will be rolling 6 dice and 4 of them has to be physical or ebooks. Then I can pick 2 audiobooks for them, the remainder, and we'll see whatever else I add, because I like that the random part of my TBR is going to be my audio listening. Before I get into my rolls, let's talk about how I've been doing with my April and May books, because as you may know, I moved, and so I had a lot of books that I picked in February to read over those 2 months, and this is how I ended up doing. In March I decided to go with 6. I had 6 rolls for March to go over, 3 of which were ebooks, 1 was a physical book, and then I had 2 audiobooks, one of them also with a physical copy alongside. So the first one was Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky. I did finish that one. I gave it 3.5 stars. It wasn't my favorite book of all time, but I finished it. Then I pulled read a recent release, and for that I read The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna, and I sadly also didn't love this one very much. It was very YA, the kind of tropes that I don't really like in YA as well, and I was a little bit bored. I have forgotten at this point what I ended up rating it. Then I also had Bone Seasons on here for the hype book, and I did start it. I got actually I think a third of the way through it, and I put it down because I wasn't feeling it at the moment. I think I might revisit it. It's not that I didn't like it, it's just that it wasn't the book at the time, because I was reading it just when I was moving, and my head was distracted with other things, and I just really wanted to read some other books. So, and then Unruly, I haven't touched it sadly. I didn't manage to get to it at all. Then I also picked The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. I forgot for what prompt, but I definitely read through this one. I listened to this in audiobook form, and I think I finished it towards the end of March. And I definitely did that because then I picked up Going Postal afterwards. I enjoyed this a lot. I didn't love it, I just enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And then I finished out Hunger by Roxane Gay, which was a non-fiction book. I think I picked, one of the prompts was a non-fiction book, and I read Hunger by Roxane Gay. Really enjoyed it. I think I gave it 5 stars. It's one of my favorite books of the quarter. And in April I put down to read Stormblast by Marie Snyder. I finished this one. I gave it 3.5 stars. I didn't, oh no, 3 stars just evenly. I didn't love this as much as I thought I would, but I did think it was good enough. Then I also picked The Dark Days Pact by Alison Goodman. I read this over Videre and gave it 4.5 stars, so I really enjoyed this one. Then I picked Signal to Noise by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I'm currently about 70-something% into it, so I figure I would finish it today on Friday, so I might be able to finish this on time. So that's what I am aiming towards. And then I had Rock Addiction by Nalini Singh, which I didn't get around to at all. I'm hoping to get to it soon anyway, but I really am sorry, sad that I didn't get to my ebooks, but that's just how it went this month. And then I had 2 audiobooks for the month as well. That was Murder in the Bowery by Victoria Thompson. I read this one and I gave it 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it, but not as much as the previous books. Then I have Amaria and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston, and I love this one. I don't know exactly. I think I've come down to giving it 5 stars. I just really enjoyed it. So more on that later. But so overall, it was pretty successful. There were 2 books that I didn't touch at all. And then there was 1 book that I started and didn't complete. But overall, I think considering my months, I think it was okay. Let's get rolling. So 6 rolls. Last time I had to check because I forgot. But last time I landed on the community chest card around the fantasy section. So let's get rolling. I will be doing 6 rolls just like last time. No, 6 rolls this time, like I did January and February, and see where I end. 5. So a chance card. Oh, and this is Bollywood Bride, and this is and that is a contemporary romance. So that is an ebook. Obviously, another 5 and another ebook, but this time of my own choosing, and a 5 again. Artificial Intelligence. Oh, this is exciting. And a double, so 7 rolls now. And you can't see this because it's out of frame, but I landed on community chest. And it is a booktuber recommends. And this time it is Becca and the Books, as you can tell, maybe. This is where I landed, so next roll. And another double. I can't. There are so 2 as a 2. This is a thriller. Oops. Interesting. 8. 1, 2, 3. And historical romance. Now we have to turn it again. Two more rolls. And a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A dark fantasy. Come on, please, final roll. And a 6. 1, 2, 6. Start a series, because we all know I need that in my life. And that was the final roll. Now I'll be picking the books for that. So in terms of what I rolled this time, I ended up rolling 8 times because I had 2 doubles, so thank you for that. The first thing I rolled was a chance card, and that was The Bollywood Bride by Sonali. This is a contemporary romance. I'm really looking forward to reading it. Usually contemporary romances are really quick, so I have good faith that this will be a good book and an easy book to read. And because of me not getting to both of the ebook picks that were picked for me in April or May, March or April, I decided to go with Rock Addiction by Nalini Singh for the second prompt, which was just to read an ebook. So I just put that book on here in hope that I will get to it in May. So I'm hoping with these two romances that I will have some quick reads in here. Then the third role was Artificial Intelligence, which is one of my favorite science fiction subgenres. I didn't know what to pick at first, but then when it came down to it, it was an easy option because I ended up going with Network Effect by Martha Wells. I do love the Murderbot books, and this one is a complete novel, whereas the other ones has been novellas, but I'm really looking forward to listening to the audio of this. Role number 4 was a booktuber recommends kind of thing, where I this time around got Becca and the Books. I had a little hard time deciding on what to pick for this, because when I think about Becca and the Books, she recommends, she reads a lot of adult fantasy, and she reads a lot of YA and fantasy romances as well. But the two authors that sort of popped into my head were Sarah J. Maas and J. Christoph, both of them, but none of them really is something I feel like reading right now. So I ended up going with another book that I also only consider, I don't think I've seen anyone else talk about this book. So I think it fits really well with Becca and the Books and her reading tastes. So I picked Fortuna Swan by K.T. Sutton, is that what he's called? I know that she read this is an indie author, and it's fae romance, I think, which worries me a little bit, but because I don't usually enjoy it, but I will listen to this and I will hopefully enjoy it. For role number 5 we got a thriller, and I decided to try out Night Film by Marisha Pessl. This is a really old book, but it was available right now from my Overdrive library, so I'll probably try and get to that. And then we have role number 6, which was read a historical romance. I struggled a little bit with what I decided to go with, and I ended up going with Shades of Milk and Honey by Robinette Kowall. I've wanted to read this for so long, and this is only like under 300 pages. It's not very long, and yeah, it's sort of a mix between a Jane Austen novel, Jane Eyre, and The Beauty and the Beast plus magic. And now we are on to the 7th prompt, which was dark fantasy. And I really didn't know what to pick for this because I really struggled. I wanted to find something of my physical shelves, and I just wanted sort of to read like, I don't know, high fantasy. But I thought about it, and I remembered Kirsten talking about how this was definitely dark fantasy that she would recommend that is the most similar author she could think of was Joe Abercrombie, and Joe Abercrombie is known for his dark fantasy. So I went with Døden og Videre by Jakob Kokkedal, or In Death and Onwards is, if I were to translate it into English, this is a dark fantasy set in Denmark, I guess. Oh well, I'm probably not Denmark, I think it's a high fantasy world. I'm looking forward to this. It sounds epic. It's adult dark fantasy, so I'm really looking forward to reading it and figure out why this is one of Kirsten's absolute favorite fantasy series. Like, she's raving about this series so much, and I really look forward to reading it. And also I read Danish faster than English, so I think I should be able to fit this, which also helped me a little bit. The last role was role number 8, and that was start a new series. And for this one I decided to go Rage of Dragons by Even Winter, that's what it was called, which is the first in a series, and thought I could add it here because it's a library book. I have to read it this month anyway, so it fit into my TBR that way. And as I said, I have some extra books. I have my secret thing that I'm working on, and I said that I didn't have any TBR unwrappings on my TBR for the month, but that's not true. I do have The Lathe of Heaven by Ursula Guin, which I unwrapped around Christmas, so I have this. It's not very long, so I'm definitely going to try and fit this in. I have my Pratchett book, which is Wintersmith, for the month. Then I would like to continue with my Stephen King project and read the Tommyknockers. And finally, if I have time for a reread, I will be rereading Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I really wanted to get back into the Percy Jackson universe, or the Rick Riordan's books in general. I haven't read these in so long, and I am looking forward to it, and because of the series that is coming at some point, I'm really eager to get back into this world and hype myself up for the series that's to come. So those are all of the things that I want to work on in May. Let me know in the comments down below how you will be doing. The good thing is that there are like a couple of long weekends in May, so I definitely have some extra reading time on those days, but otherwise I'm hoping to make good progress on everything. But this is my main TBR for the month, and plus a couple of ebooks and audios. So let me know in the comments down below what you'll be reading in May, if you have any exciting plans, which ones of these you think I'll enjoy the most, which books I am most excited to hear my thoughts about. And yeah, so this was everything I have for you today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video very, very soon. Goodbye.